Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you're distracting the referee, and the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you get punched to the ring apron, and you realize all the trouble you're in on the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag, and you go ahead and make your own comeback. Knock it off. That's when you should quit wrestling, and you're better off rolling a dumb text. AEW, the hardest part of the ring, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps, clap, 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 clap. The hardest part of the ring, the hardest part of the ring. Ba da ba da. Whoa, yay! Hey, Bob Squad. What's going on? I hope you're enjoying your week. I am a little bit late with this. I had a comedy, some jokes to tell on Tuesday night, so it pushed me back a little bit, which happens, and it's gonna keep happening. It's one of them things. I don't think you urgently need me to tell you what happened on the program, but what you do need to do, it doesn't matter if it's a Wednesday. It doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday. It could be a Saturday. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, Bob Squad. It doesn't matter. What you do want to do to relax, treat yourself. Do something good for yourself and enjoy a Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi. And what you can do right now to treat yourself is you go to PepsiCola.com /Wild Cherry /diet _ no caffeine. Enter the promo code Bob Squad and absolutely nothing happens. It's a waste of time. I made it up. Pardon me, I'm coughing up turkey burgers. I had them again. I guess that's all I eat now. There we go. Let me have a sip of a Wild Cherry Diet Pepsi. Hang on. I hope on my various social medias you saw my turkey burger pics, my turkey burger pictures in my Cobra Commander helmet, which I'm enjoying thoroughly. It's actually really hot in that thing and hard to breathe, but it's fun for pictures and no regrets. But speaking of regrets, let's talk about WWE Monday Night Raw, the Hulu edition. Not limited enough commercial interruption. Here's the wacky thing. The Hulu edition, I don't know about the live, the big, long broadcast. Mark, let me know in the comments. That's my new catchphrase, by the way. Mark, let me know in the comments. Mark, don't feel obligated to always write. Don't feel you necessarily have to write something in the comments like I'm giving you homework. Every time I say, Mark, write something in the comments. I don't know. I just have nothing to add, so. Pardon me. Those turkey burgers are not as far down as I thought. But this program, the 90-minute action-packed version... I used to always say that when they advertised it, and it's like the all promo version, the all interview version of Monday Night Raw. If you watched the Hulu edition with the sound off, this was a good show, except for the promo. Well, you have to turn the sound back on for the promos, but it was a good show. If you watched the Hulu edition like I did, with the sound on the entire time, so you can hear the commentary. That was not a good show. And I realized, I didn't even notice why was I enjoying the show a little bit more over the last 2 weeks. Corey Graves wasn't on. And now Corey Graves is back. He is done with his honeymoon and his wedding to Carmella. And I'm sure they had a nice time. They had romantic evenings. I'm sure they frolicked in the fields. Maybe they had relations in the nude with the genitals and the thrusting. I don't know. I wasn't there. I could only assume so. And that's fine. But what could I tell you? Graves was back, and he was the over the top. Let me shit on Byron Saxton as much as possible and be so overbearing and obnoxious to Jimmy Smith and Byron Saxton. It's just too much. It's not believable, and it's slowing the show down for me. It's making the show drag. It's already a 19-hour program. So, if you watch the Hulu edition and turn the commentary off for the matches, this is a pretty good show. But We open the show with hugs. Yay, hugs. That's how we open our wrestling combative violence show. Actually, we don't open the show with hugs. Forgive me. Let me check my notes. We opened the show with... I can't read my own handwriting. Blank blanks, body slamming Andre the Giant. I don't know who it is. There's no way of knowing. We have a celebration with Randy Orton, and he's been there for 20 years, and obviously you know it's going to get interrupted. But Vince loves celebrations and anniversaries, so we knew when we saw on the various social media platforms before a billionaire bought them, so he didn't have to testify about committing adultery with Johnny Depp. Oh, stop. We saw on the various social media platforms that Randy Orton was having a 20-year celebration of some sort. Good old Danhausen. And we sure do. And everybody's around the ring. They're doing the thing around the ring where everybody's standing around and clapping for Randy Orton. So Riddle was really good here. Riddle makes this announcement, and he's still doing the character of like the 90s stoner who talks like Jim Brewer and Half Baked. He's doing that caricature, which is fine, but he's not saying anything incredibly stupid, and he's still believable enough when he introduces Randy. And I don't know why it wasn't long, but it was just helpful. Like I liked it. I liked how Riddle brought Randy Orton out. I don't remember it because it's been over a day now, and I've, if there's a comedy show between me and watching this show, so much my focus goes to that comedy set that I don't, even though I took notes, I don't remember what the hell I saw. If I watch it the same day and read my notes, I know exactly what I just saw. Ezekiel has tassels. Okay, so here's what's going on. 88 people interrupt this thing, and I wrote down 20 minutes. It took exactly 20 minutes of airtime before the first commercial break. Orton comes out. Cody comes out to celebrate. Seth comes out to interrupt. Ezekiel comes out to interrupt. Kevin Owens comes out to interrupt. Jimmy and Jey Uso come out to interrupt, and Adam Pearce comes out to interrupt to tell them all that there's going to be an eight-man tag of, give me a second here, this will, Orton, Riddle, Cody, and Ezekiel, who I guess is a good guy, and he has tassels. He has tassels now. Versus Seth, Kevin Owens, and both of the Usos in an 8-man tag at the end of the night, which, if you think about it, was 2.5 hours, took place 2.5 hours after the segment. And Kevin Owens punches Ezekiel, and then there's an RKO by Randy Orton on Kevin Owens, so everyone can cheer. And then we show Bianca Belair in the back before we go to the break, because they're in Knoxville, Tennessee, which, if you're not familiar with the layout of Tennessee, Knoxville's in the middle, Nashville's on the far east of Tennessee, and Memphis is in the far west of Tennessee. So in the middle of Tennessee, and Kane, Mayor Glenn Jacobs of Knoxville County, Mayor Kane is talking to Bianca Belair. That's right, Hall of Famer, WWE brother, WWE Hall of Famer, Undertaker's brother Kane is talking to Bianca Belair, and he tells Bianca Belair that he supports Russia. No, he doesn't. He didn't, but he might as well have. Kane is back there. No, seriously, and he tells Bianca Belair that if you make rules about where the homeless can sleep, you motivate them to get houses. That's what he said. He said something close to that on Twitter, but anyway, you don't hear their words. Thank God you don't hear their words. And he cut the commercial break. We come back, and Sonya Deville is in the ring. So I made a mistake last week. I thought Sonya Deville and Bianca Belair would wrestle this title match for the WWE RAW Women's Championship on a pay-per-view, the WrestleMania Backlash, coming up in a week or so. I made an error. It was now, which was 2 days ago at the time of this recording. And Sonya Deville is already waiting in the ring, so nothing says champion like that. And so she's challenging Bianca Belair, and Sonya Deville is getting introduced, and she looks at the camera, and she winks at me. How about that? Well, she did. Okay. Then we have a recap of her and the long thing, her and Sonya. I skip through those recaps now, guys. I don't relive them anymore. And her and Bianca do 2 quick spots, like a headlock and a tackle, and then Sonya gets counted out. Someone wins a match by count out because they were out of the ring too long. I love that. And Sonya does the gimmick. You can see where this is going. Because she's also still a general manager of some kind. And she says, no, that doesn't count. There's water here and I slipped. It doesn't count. The match will be restarted. No count outs. And then I think they go to a break. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It doesn't matter. But she starts the match again, and then they're outside of the ring, and Sonya hits Bianca Belair with a steel folding chair. She hits her with furniture. And then Sonya gets disqualified because that is against the rules of the competition. And then Sonya says, "Hey, I'm making another rule. No, we start the match again. No disqualifications." So the referee on both occasions for this count and disqualification rings the bell and restarts the match. What is the problem? Well, besides the fact that you shouldn't be able to be a general manager and a competitor at the same time. That's ludicrous. Both times the referee restarted this match, he started it, he rang the bell with at least one or both of the two wrestlers outside of the ring. You can't do that. That's the smallest and least egregious of the offenses of stupidity of this entire scenario. But, yeah, you can't do that. Sonya gets counted out. She's standing outside the ring. Bianca's in the ring, and she says, "Ring the bell," and he rings the bell. Okay, can't do that. Then there's a disqualification with the chair. They're both outside the ring, and she says, "Ring the bell." Referee rings the bell. Okay. So referee's got no balls, and referees, more importantly, have no power. You know, it used to be, even when Vince McMahon was trying to screw Stone Cold Steve Austin, there was some imaginary committee that you barely mention. It just says, "But my hands are tied. All referees' decisions are final. However, I can make this match tonight, Austin, and you have to fight Kane and The Undertaker," and blah, 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 blah. And then The Undertaker will make you talk to his wife about Jesus, and Kane will tell you COVID's not real. That didn't happen yet. That would come later. You're done, Bob? You had to sneak that in? But anyway, for the no DQ match, Sonya Deville brings in Zelina Vega, who is not British, and Carmella, so it's really 3-on-1. And the three of them are trying to beat up Bianca Belair, and Bianca fights back. And Bianca pins Sonya, I want to say. I don't think she hit her finish. I think it was a roll-up of some kind. I can't remember now, but I don't think it was her finish. I would have remembered that. Because Sonya had to get up and sell. She was pissed off in order to do this next ridiculous segment backstage. So they shouldn't, if they did, they shouldn't have had Bianca hit her finish on that. And this might continue to be the keep Bianca busy feud until she fights somebody else. Thing, I don't know. So you have to keep it going and not pin Sonya with the finish just yet. Anyway, the Blue Light Special is next. That should be the name of this faction. This group should be called the Blue Light Special. If you're not familiar with Kmart, it's like a Walmart, but not in business anymore. In America, it's the same thing. And they used to have blue light specials where there were little blue lights around the store, and that told you where the really disgusting crap was on clearance. So, the Blue Light Special. It's more of an 80s thing in America, but whatever. I fast forwarded through Edge and Damian Priest talking. It sounded like it was going to be painful, and I couldn't take it. So they said words, and the lights were spooky. Did I write down the slaps with Bianca and Sonya or no? Let me back up because I think I just forgot. I wrote Potato Fest, and that's what I was talking about. Yes. Okay, the Potato Fest. If you're not familiar, for those not familiar, potato in wrestling is when you hit someone with a stiff shot for realsy reals, and you're really not supposed to. So, Sonya is backstage yelling at Zelina and Carmella for not helping her enough after the pinfall loss. And this is why I suggested it probably wasn't Bianca's finish that hit Sonya, because Sonya should be selling the shit out of that finish if it was hit. So I think she got rolled up somehow, but I could be wrong on that. Anyway, she's yelling at the two of them. She hits Zelina pretty hard with the two slaps. She slaps Zelina, and then she slaps Carmella really hard, and Carmella went down on her ass. They both looked great. Both the slaps looked great, sounded great. And I think the adage is backstage, as we've heard through various old timers, is especially when you're filming any attack physical backstage stuff, you have to lay it in because you're way too close. You can't cover. It has to look good. So you just have to say sorry before or after or whatever. and just kind of just lay that in and be like, listen, it's got to be this way. So she slapped the shit out of the two of them. I mean, that was good. I thought Sonya's. I didn't think Sonya's. I know she hasn't been wrestling on TV in almost 2 years or whatever, but I didn't think Sonya's in-ring stuff was particularly great. I don't think she did Bianca any favors. I actually think it was a good thing to do with Bianca and Sonya, just gimmick the shit out of the match. It felt like an old Saturday Night's main event type of match where there's like so many crazy things going on in each little segment, and 80 people are running in and out. But it had a controlled chaos to it, but still. I feel you had to do that because if you had Bianca and Sonya in a straight up match, oof, because you're hurting Bianca more than anything else. Because Sonya doesn't matter as much. Bianca is like a star they've invested in with big WrestleMania matches and promotion and stuff like that. So if Bianca beats Sonya in a stinker, it's not good. It's not good. So it's better that Bianca beats Sonya in an against all odds wacky thing, which I didn't think it was offensive on its wackiness. I thought it was just the right move. But keep it there. Anyway. So Sonya slaps the shit out of people with the blue light special. An arm wrestling contest. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen one of these in forever. And this is why I was entertained by it. Because we haven't seen one in a couple of years. So now that we are, I'm like, okay. Alright. Just like with Sonya Deville, I haven't seen someone continually restart a match for ridiculous reasons. I haven't seen that gimmick in a while either. So I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. It's been a minute since we did this. MVP is kind of promo because Omos isn't doing it. Omos and Bobby Lashley are having an arm wrestling match, and Bobby's Bobby. He just is Bobby, and he comes out and looks big as he is, and he goes back and forth with Omos. He defeats Omos in an arm wrestling contest, of course, and Omos rams Bobby's head into the padded arm wrestling. Because now it's like an official arm wrestling table. It's got the elbow pads in the right place and the cushions, rather, and the handles, like those old Atari joystick-looking motherfuckers on the inside of it. So he rams Bobby Lashley's head into the padded table. And then how do I describe this? Omos stands inside the table, so this weird metal table, it's got metal bars that connect the bottom of the legs. So if you knock it on its side, it's like a square and you can stand in it. So Omos stands in this tiny table looking so ridiculous and picks it up and kind of jams it onto Bobby's chest, and then he steps out of the table, which is even sillier, throws it against the ramp over the top rope. Over the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. Throws it against the metal ramp, and it does nothing because it's also metal, and it just made Omos was working so hard this entire segment to make himself look foolish, and he succeeded every single step of the way. MVP has a lot of work to do. Becky Lynch is back, and she cuts an amazing promo. Let me take a sip of Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi while we think about Becky Lynch and her new great hair and how good this promo was. Oh boy. She was wonderful. They shortened up the hair a little bit. I think it looks better than it did at WrestleMania, where it was that weird in-between stage where they kind of cut half of it. This version is better. Keep it there. Keep it there for a bit. It'll grow when it grows. Who cares? She's wearing this bananas black leather thing with like super high white boots. She looks like Lady Gaga like 2 years after the meat dress, trying to like take it back a step. So didn't think I was making that reference today. So Becky cuts this wonderful promo about how she's hit rock bottom, which is funny because her move is the rock bottom, even though she doesn't call it that. And everything's the worst, but at least I'm not as bad as you dumb people in Knoxville, and it's just beautiful. She was wonderful. I loved it. And she says you beat this person, beat that person, yada yada. Asuka's music hits, and Asuka is back, and it is wonderful. It is so wonderful. She's doing her dance. She has no idea what's going on. She says two things in Japanese. No one in Knoxville, Tennessee knows what she said. And really, unfortunately for Asuka, you can go to the most populated cities in the United States and speak Japanese and no one knows what you're talking about, honestly. But they were cool to her. She didn't get the stupid what thing like everybody else, like MVP got, and probably Seth Rollins. If I don't remember, but I'm probably at this point because Austin came back, so it was on everyone's minds. But Asuka's back, and I don't know if this was done intentional, but if this was intentional, whoever thought of it was a genius. Becky's only wearing black and white, and Asuka, as you know if you know Asuka, is full of color, like an absurd amount of color. Like NXT 2.0 is jealous of Asuka with how much color Asuka has. And Asuka does this like flick of the nose thing with her finger, almost up Becky Lynch's nose, which is kind of funny. And Becky Lynch, I think she swings and Asuka ducks and goes for a kick, and Becky ducks and gets the hell out of there. So there's technically no physicality, but there was an attempted attack. So it's looking like with that and Rhea doing her thing with Liv Morgan the week before, that's two non-title women's feuds going on. Now, I saw a lot of people rejoicing that, and you should. It's way better for the women's division, and honestly better for the show, if you have some non-title women's issues going on. With that said, what I don't understand, well, no, what I do understand is that, at least in my head, I don't see Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan doing business together for too much longer. I would have to imagine, and I've been wrong, Rhea's going to go through Liv quickly, sooner than later, and Rhea as a heel can be left with Bianca. But is it too soon? Like I think Rhea and Bianca is either a SummerSlam or even a next year's Mania match. I really do. Where does Becky fit in? I don't know. But Becky can do anything with anybody, it seems, and maybe elevate them. I thought Rhea as a babyface versus Becky was the way to go for Mania, but hey, I was wrong. Or maybe I was right. They didn't do it. I don't know. But there were different ways to go. So, so I don't see Liv Morgan staying in this whole thing, and I don't know. Nikki ASH is just there. Dewdrop is just there. Dana Brooke is that thing will run its course, and she's there. As Zelina and Carmella actually broke up as a tag team, but they were teaming together once again just to help Sonya lose to Bianca, and so they're doing nothing. Alexa Bliss hasn't been on TV in several months. She had a 9-week comeback in a therapy session, and with a guy who wore the same suit for 2 months apparently, and nothing. So I don't know what the hell. It's like no one's doing anything. Alexa's still very popular. Like a lot of people still care what she does because she was a huge part of the TV for so many years. So I don't know. I think Bianca, Rhea, Becky, and Alexa are the cornerstones for the women on Raw. Or at least Alexa should be the fourth one, is what I think. All wackiness and spookiness aside. I mean, Bray hasn't been there in a year, so we can move on. No offense, I love Bray. I rambled on, I'm sorry, guys. It happens. Okay. The color contrast, the black and white versus color was great. Finn Balor, who did he piss off? Wrestles Damian Priest, and these two guys had a match there's nothing to write home about. And once again, why would I bother my mother with that information? Edge is up on top of the ramp, and he's just sitting on a throne, and I should have been sitting on the throne during this match. So Finn goes to the top turnbuckle, over the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. Finn goes to the turnbuckle. He stands up. Yay. Edge stands up from the throne 80 feet away. Finn turns to look at him, and I think Finn gets crotched or something, and Priest hits a finisher of some kind and pins Finn. 1, 2, 3. He's 80 feet away. Finn Balor's been doing this a long time. It's a lazy distraction. It was just, I don't know. See, it's not just that Finn doesn't have the size, even though he's like super jacked and has 98 abs. There's no wrestlers to beat on the show anymore. If they're really behind Ezekiel, okay, who the hell is he going to beat? He's going to play with the alphas. That can't last forever. Austin Theory had to beat Finn a million times. And Priest is going to have to beat Finn a million times. But who else is there? Can't do Cody, they're doing something with him. Can't keep beating AJ. AJ's feuding with Edge. We're out of guys. It's a 3-hour show and we fire wrestlers every week. Or at least we stopped doing that. That was the thing last year. Okay. So, the 80 feet away distraction thing bugged me a little bit. We have Miz TV, and Theory is on Miz TV, and the two heels are complimenting each other, but almost backhand complimenting each other, which is fine. Pardon me. Mustafa Ali still works there, even though he doesn't want to. He's been very vocal. He comes out with all the charisma of a dull number 2 pencil. And Theory says he texted Mr. McMahon and he gets Miz a match with Ali. And Ali had some comments before this, or Miz had comments about Ali wanting to leave and the rest of us want to be. They played off the shoot internet stuff and blah, but I don't think anyone knew what the hell was going on. We find out how short Ali is. I'm not a fan of the guy, but Ali and Miz have a match, and Ali doesn't really fire up as a babyface all that much. I don't think he sells great either. He beats Miz somehow. He rolls him up some way. He does a wacky roll up of some kind. I remember that now. And Ali beats the Miz, and I think Ali's getting that win, so Ali, like Finn Balor, can just be another guy that the Theories and Damian Priest of the world need to beat. That's what I think. Who knows? Maybe just no one was around. Kane is backstage again, and this time no audio, but he's talking to Randy Orton. So he's telling him about mask mandates is ruining their freedom to call people racial slurs or something. I don't remember. The Miz. Then they had the Miz and Ali, and he was. Ali goes up the ramp, and Ciampa, no more Tommaso. Is it even a surprise anymore? It's silly. Tommaso Ciampa is now Ciampa, and he was going to Ciampa at the bit to nail Ali, and he did. And I like that he just decked Ali. He clotheslined him or forearmed him or something like that. It wasn't this long, absurd beatdown with one finish and a finish through a table, and no officials came out to do anything about it or anything like that. It was just, he nailed him, and he looked at him, and that was that. So I guess Ciampa and Ali will keep each other busy, but that's never making Hulu. I'm told Veer squashed a guy too, but that didn't make Hulu, of course. The main event 8-man tag that we talked about 4 years ago is finally here. There's a big jump start brawl at the beginning. It's whatever, they have a match. Orton gave 4 RKOs in a row to everyone on the team, ending with one of the Usos, who he caught off the top turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3. Everyone powders out. Babyfaces celebrate. And the Randy Orton celebration night actually ended with Randy Orton celebrating. Who'd have thunk it? I did not think that was going to happen, but I was glad it did. So, very nice. Very nice. And this was fine. Again, Graves' commentary, he was hurting it. I just blocked it out, and nothing was wrong with this 8-man tag, but it wasn't historic, and they're just... Raw matches do kind of go through the motions, because an NXT takeover with Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, which I'm pretty sure they did at least once, or even our WWE pay-per-view. Let's take the Hunter, Triple H, NXT stuff out of it, because the style is so radically different anyway. It's like apples to another fruit. Even on a pay-per-view, a special event, premium event, I don't know, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest would have had more oomph to it, but they're just on Raw, having a match. They don't care. They're, I'm not saying they don't care, but it's very paint by numbers. All the heat spot's going where it goes. The finish goes at the end, because otherwise it wouldn't be a finish. And any shining of the baby face that happens, it's just, it doesn't look like they're having their own unique match. They're just doing one another's moves to one another, if that makes any sense. It's another video game like thing. It's just, well, Imagine Finn Balor doing his wacky sling blade clothesline thing to Damian Priest. Well, there you go. There's no unique Priest counter to something like that, or vice versa. You know what I mean? It's just the match. So that's why the 8-man tag, again, nothing to write home about, and also, again, why waste my mother's time? She doesn't care. And everyone celebrated, and they stood in the ring, and some of them even climbed out of the ropes, and they stood outside the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. What else is going on in Bob Squad world? I did my comedy. I had a nice comedy show Friday as well. It just came up today. It came up very last minute. 18 people must have canceled, so I got us another spot. So I got to do that. I have 2 scenes left on the Batman versus the Snake Eyes in the Sunbob universe. They're all big. Of course, they're 2 big scenes. I keep rewriting stuff, and that doesn't make sense. You got to move that. This makes no sense. You got to move that. And it still probably won't make sense, but my solution to fixing everything is, well, you need another extra mini scene or to explain this and get so and so from A to B. And it's like, oh, geez. But I think it'll be worth it. I'm hoping, it ain't happening this weekend, of course, but I'm hoping the weekend after next, Saturday or Sunday morning, one of those, that the thing will just be up, is what I'm really hoping. So, fingers crossed for that. I can't make a definite promise, but it's possible that Saturday, May 7th, or Sunday, May 8th, one of those 2 days, the thing might be ready. So, I'm hoping that happens. I would love that. But who knows? That's what I'm working on. And you should get another fun boxing soon. Soon. What am I fun boxing? I got 2 things left. I got 2 fun boxings left. And then I don't know what the hell. I'll buy something else. I'll find something. I always do. It'll be what it is. So I thank you again, Bob Squad, for listening to the hardest part of the ring. And one of the craziest things about the hardest part of the ring is that sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.